Okay, yes, I am here.
Yes, so good evening, ma'am. So let me introduce you. Dr. Sunita Gandhi, Ph.D, Cambridge University, educator, researcher, innovator, author from CMS Lucknow, is an educationist of the year 2014, visionary of Uttar Pradesh 2017. She is the founder, Council of Global Education, USA, Global Education and Training Institute, and DEVI Sansthan, Dignity, Education, Vision International, and she's also founder, Education Society of Iceland. So welcome, ma'am, and please go ahead with your thoughts and enlighten us, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vasudha, and it's indeed a privilege to be here on this very eminent panel. Thank you, Janji, for organizing UEF. I think it's all over the education scenario as we unexpectedly arrived at a very different point than we had imagined. So what does educational leadership mean at this point in time, at this juncture? And what do we learn from our current experiences of the lockdown is something that we can think about together. When we got locked down, I think we got very little notice across the country, and the teachers had to rise up to the challenge of creating online courses. The MHRD required it, the CBSE board, all the boards said, well, we have to do this, and rightly so, because we have to somehow reach out to our children. We can't leave them in a love. So what we felt is that there were major lessons already for everyone. For example, what we found is that the teachers embraced this very, very quickly, and it was not that difficult for them to get online, unlike what we may have anticipated. And it was, easy for them to get online, but it was more difficult to engage children in the old ways. So for example, we are used to giving them assignments and homework, and mostly written homework. And all these things were not having such an impact in the last month that we've tried this out, as engaging children in more creative ways. One of the challenges has also been how to bring all the children to a fore, have them attend the lessons. Some children have not even come once online, and there are practical reasons. So the technology has fallen short of the requirements, perhaps because of nobody could actually organize themselves. And I'm sure this would go a lot better even a week. So we find that children don't sometimes have the device or the data, and similarly with the teachers. So when we look at the landscape of not just the metros and the tier 1-2 cities, we look at India's entire landscape. Technology has baffled us all, but to the extent that we have been able to the children through online means and remote learning has been made possible. I think there are some very, very encouraging signs, we can all agree. The teachers have used a variety of technology mechanisms. For example, they've used, in our case, I run an experimental school called City International School, which is in Manas City. We have other branches of that. And we also have schools called Nurture International Schools across the country. And my family runs the City Montessori Schools, where I'm the honorary chief academic advisor. So, we've learned that, okay, teachers have been now using very effectively free tools available online, like Google Classroom, Google Teams, very useful also, and Google Hangout. In addition, we have used other platforms like Cisco WebEx, and to some extent GoToMeeting and so many others. We've also recently started to develop our own platform because it needs to be secure, unlike what we hear about some of the platforms currently in use, where everyone can feel confident to be on. The difficulty has been also that because it happened so suddenly again, where are the books? The children don't have access to books. So to the extent that our teachers make snapshots from their mobiles and load their pages of the chapters they want to teach, it is actually creating not so much interest in the children. I think the content has to be thought of vastly differently. We don't have to push the academic agenda quite so much. I think children have great capacity, and we all will agree with that, to learn very quickly, providing the materials presented to them in interesting and enriching ways. What we have done is converted our textbooks, we call them tier books. I'm talking about the experimental schools, into 6 parts. So a year's coursework is divided into 6 parts, and each part is called a tier, and each tier is divided into 5 weekly units. So it becomes very streamlined, very easy for the teachers and the children to know what are the goals and work towards those goals. And we find often children not just meet, but beat the time lines that we give them. And something similar has happened now with online courses. We've asked the teachers to be very innovative, to think of creative ways in which they can engage the children, not just in the written work or written assignments, but all kinds of assignments. So indeed, to make education both deeper and broader. So what does it mean to have it broader would be perhaps things like our teachers have done, gallantly done, like doing hands-on activities, and children find resources around the house, cupboards, educard, and all sorts of environmentally friendly ways to do things. They're engaging in Earth Day activities, and watching the plants. As little children are creating so many wonderful experiments of their own, props to explain concepts, and we find a lot of engagement from the children because it is not the regular routine kind of assignments we're giving them. So that has made a huge indent into the children's lives. I think children love the feeling of community to the extent we are able to reach out to all our children, which may be something like 90% at best, and perhaps going down to 50% or less in some cases because of obvious reasons, technology and other accessibility issues. But we find that the children who are online are feeling a sense of community. And we have to remember that when we talk about deeper, it's about meaningful engagements. It is redefining to some extent the role of the teacher. The teacher is not just there to teach academic content, a role model, an example, a person that the children can cling on to, the mother surrogate or the father surrogate at the school. And I think that now it's sort of God-given opportunity for teachers to show that well-being and care and create the joyfulness in the lives of the children that sometimes misses when we have into what we have in our routine classrooms, where we have the children coming into the school, and then there's a very restrictive kind of schedule which changes with every 40 minutes. So I think it has exposed the teachers to a vastly new set of possibilities of teaching and learning. So we've also learned from it as managers and teachers. We don't really get the opportunity to know our teachers. We don't know what kind of talents. Now, right now, it's all very obvious. It's all visual. It's in front of you. And, our teachers have done gallant work. For example, we asked them if they would like to go live on Facebook. That's very daunting for most of us. And yet the teachers took on the challenge. And this particular community, 47 teachers, and every single one of them has done a live session or more. And our children, because the teachers, when they're so gallant and they're so ambitious for their children respond likewise. And we found the children doing enormously amazing work, hands-on experiments. One child of class 4 explaining condensation and evaporation using his utensils, making a video of the whole thing. Another child showing solid, liquid, and gas, showing experiments. Another child showing through props, the whole idea of, I think it was synonyms and antonyms. And children are becoming teachers. So besides all the things, the variety of things the children are doing, one of the things they've been really most excited about doing is making videos of what they have learned. And I think that was just a fluke of an idea that we had. Let's get the children, rather than give them written assignments, give them the opportunity to make a video and post it for their class and for their teacher and share what they have learned. And it's actually quite, hair-raising an experience. We have, in this 1 month lockdown period, this one small school community, I'd say, 1,000 children approximately, has created something like 500 videos, and you can immediately go and check it out on City International School its YouTube channel, which is called the CIS channel, City International School CIS channel. And you will see on the playlist that children from playgroup to class 12 have made over 500 videos that have been posted. They've actually made many more that have not yet been posted. Every day we're getting something like 50 videos by the children. The learning has exploded. And what we've also found is that within this 1 month, we had expected that they might cover partially the coursework. We were not pushing the academic agenda, but the children have learned a lot more. In some classes, they've not just covered one tier of we would expect in 5 weeks, but they have learned some, in senior classes in particular, they've learned more than 1/3. They've learned even, I'm sorry, they've learned more than 1/6. They've learned even 1/3 of the material. So this is data from our school, and it's highly indicative of what is possible through remote learning. There are, a number of other things that have been amazing about this whole period. Children have been not just creating their own videos. Many of the children, including some from middle grades and definitely from senior grades, have started their own YouTube channels, and that's very exciting because they're becoming leaders. One child, for example, has made videos on how to overcome your fears of speaking in public. And this child has typically been very shy. And here he has come out with, I think, maybe 20 odd videos on his own YouTube channel. And they also list some of them on our CIS channel. And these children have also gone live. They've decided on their own, we want to go live. Just because they saw their teachers do it, they want to go live. And you can see all these live videos on the Facebook channel of this school as well, CIS, City International School, Lucknow. So we have surprised, truly that we've surprised ourselves. And we can say that teachers are also becoming extremely creative. They are learning so many new things in a very short span of time. They've learned all the different technologies, not just the Google products. They've learned about Cisco, WebEx, and now we've challenged them because we've chosen Microsoft Teams as our preferred technology. Every technology has some of its benefits and some disadvantages. Microsoft Teams has phenomenal suite of opportunities within it to set up your classroom, to give assignments. And yet Microsoft Teams has the one minor disadvantage that you can't view yourselves like here we can on Zoom. And, or at least only the speaker can view herself or himself. But they're adding to it, and we are hopefully teachers have learned that very, very well. And we've chosen that as our prime modality going forwards. Teachers have used this live presentation and surprised us tremendously. For example, they've shown use of puppets and whatever kind of props that are available in the house. They've done shadow puppetry and shadow storytelling. They've used placards. They've used so many energizers they've created to interact with the children. So they begin the whole their presentations with energizers, and then they have the content, then they do some fun activities, then they ask children questions. So they're interacting in a very rich and creative way. This is something that was not necessarily happening in the past. We are also assuming, because they've covered so much of the content, next week we are thinking of conducting assessments of our first year, which has been completed. And so this will be another thing that we can take feedback on, how did it go. But we treat assessments slightly differently. We treat them not to classify children in any form or judge them, but to in fact treat it as an opportunity to baseline children and to give them diagnostic feedback. We call them I versus I, which means competing with myself reports, and children get to know which areas they were green in, which is they're good in, moderately good in, that's blue, and not so, not yet, proficient in, and that's in orange. We avoid the red. And then they take about a week after the baseline feedback, which is instant and immediate. They then take the opportunity to fix their own personalized needs, and the teacher also works with them. So overall, we feel that into the future, these are the skills that we cannot afford to set aside. I think, it can't be the old normal. It has to be a new normal when we get back. And we have to consciously make sure that is a new normal. We don't want to fall back into the old traps. I mean, it is very hard for teachers to change, for all of us to change, for any of us to change, because we are so used to the rhythms of what we do. But because they're being thrown in the deep end and they're learning these new skills, we as managers have to provide the enabling environment to make sure that all teachers are getting the opportunity to continue with the gains that they have made in terms of skills for themselves and for the children. Not forgetting that children have learned a lot of technological skills as well. There are certain things that are taught better online, so there'll be a mix of online, offline, and classroom approaches. I'm sure that we will have revised and changed the way we assess. Professor John Hattie's research analyses, it shows that there has to be instant feedback. Normally we test children half yearly or sometimes more continuous way, but nevertheless, we don't use feedback for formative or feed-forward purposes. Secondly, the feedback is not instant for the child. It takes longer to get to the child. And to the extent we can give instant feedback, then we can gain more in terms of learning and confidence of the children, overcome the difficulties and help them excel more. So this is possible through technology. Teachers have learned, in this very constrained but timely manner, they've learned about how to give instant feedback through, say, Google Classroom or through Teams, and therefore get instant reports and therefore correct immediately. And I think that's really, really powerful. We don't want to get out of that and back into the old regime of assessments. We also don't want to manage or micromanage our teachers so much as we have done in the past. I think we should give them freedom. We found teachers taking classes till middle of the night sometimes. The kids are excited, they're with them, they're working through the night, preparing their next lessons. I've seen 3 Zoom sessions on a particular day, 4 Zoom sessions. I mean, teachers are just giving so much more of themselves when they've been left free and acknowledge that they are creative and so forth. We don't want to go back to regimental, curriculum bites and so forth. And of course, create more flexible timetables. So I'm sure also that we will assign work differently, will make education broader and deeper. And in that context, I want to also say that there has to be 4 building blocks of education that we need to train our children in that will make education deeper and broader. First is the idea that values are very, very important. So our own example really conveys beautifully to the children. Teachers who are striving hard, they're obviously showing hard work is very, very important. Dealing honorably with integrity, all these are values we really need to nurture in our, and I think that's happening at the moment quite a bit. And I think the values are something we need to keep at the forefront. Second thing is global understanding that we are part of one human family. And I think, regardless of race, color, religion, caste, nationality, we need to transcend all that and have our children appreciate diversity and treat it in its true value, which is that it enriches the world and makes it a better place to be. And I think we need to nurture that sentiment even more now. Third is excellence in all things. So it's not just about academics, but about becoming the best you can be, competing with yourself and not others. So how do we do that? And of course, the online regime presents more opportunity for personalized learning and personalized sharing and personalized addressing of needs of the children. And teachers are really dealing with that very, very beautifully. The fourth thing that we need to make children understand is service to humanity. So their responsibility towards the environment and their being able to use their talents for service to humanity. So those are things we can nurture, and service to parents is service to humanity. Family helping out around the house is another. We've had so many videos by the children helping their parents around the house, and that's awesome to see. Parents have been great support in this whole process as well. So I think I can end here with this thought process that we can make learning very, very different. We can use that the teachers have created of videos they have created, which they've never had the chance to create over the years. And now suddenly they have got a huge inventory of not just children created videos, but their own videos. So they can be used, the children's videos as well as their own videos can be used for flip teaching, which will help them to accelerate learning, where children can go and study them at night view the videos that made by the children or the teachers, come back the next day, share their learning with the class, and the teacher then adds further to what the children have to share. So I think things will be very, very different, and we hope they will be, because these are skills that we cannot set aside. And I think God has given us a big, major lesson to think differently and major time to think. And we managers need to challenge ourselves to think vastly differently so that we can make all this real and possible. Thank you. Namaskar.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gandhi. So yes, one of the questions you have already covered, but yes, I would like to ask you that you are the part of one of the world's largest schools, that is CMS Lucknow. So what is your journey to achieve this prestigious status of your school today?
Okay, very interesting question. I can say that, really the consistent messages from my father and mother. They have been the founders of the school. They founded in 1959 and with the motto of Jai Jagat. That means glory to the whole world. The idea of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. And I think that, a new teacher that arrives in the school, of course, is big, but the majority of teachers, when they buy into some ideology and they follow it to the heart, the others that come in become a part of it very quickly. And we say Jai Jagat. I think when you have a broader vision, then everything falls under it very nicely. I think children do better academically when they feel safe in a set of vision that's very clear, not just to the school, to the teachers, to the children and their parents and their relatives. So it creates a very consistent set of environment within home and school, and it nurtures the child in a very rich way. So maybe that's the reason. Of course, results are very, very important. City Montessori School has some of the best results in the country. And that means that it's icing on the cake. If you can get results, and parents are more geared to come towards you. And it is a moral responsibility, minimum a school can be expected to do.
Excellent, excellent.